So I got diagnosed with depression. They say you should start on a positive note, so I thought we'll start there. No, but really, I went to see my psychiatrist about 10 years ago, and I go sit down in his office. It's this dark, little, dingy place, and he looks at me over his creepy little glasses after he's looking at his little notepad. He says, "You, son, are struggling with depression." I said, "No, doc, I find it really easy." Some days I just have to wake up. If that doesn't work, I just come and see you. He told me it was a chemical imbalance in my brain. I thought my life was just really sad, and I was fucking sad about that. Guess not. Then he told me if I wanted it to go away, I have to stop doing drugs. He said, drugs are going to make it worse. Then he prescribed me a bunch of drugs to try to make it better. I don't know where he went to medical school. But then he started telling me about the side effects of these drugs. He gave me a little list that long. It was crazy. The first couple, pretty standard. Dry mouth, dizziness, drowsiness, don't drive, that kind of stuff. I can handle that, no problem. Then the rest were like nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. It was sounding like a Pepto-Bismol commercial. And they just kept getting worse. I mean, penile shrinkage, erectile dysfunction, lowered sex drive, uncontrollable weight loss. Of course my sex drive is low. If I'm gaining weight, my penis doesn't work. But I was really concerned when I got to the end of the list. And the last two side effects that were listed were suicidal thoughts and depression. I said, "Doc, I think you misunderstood. When I told you I wanted to get rid of my depression, I didn't mean I wanted to speed up the process." No, it was pretty brutal. I started to question this guy's medical degree at this point. I thought the entrance exam at that med school is way too easy. No, but I take things way too literally sometimes. It causes a lot of confusion in my life. One time a friend of mine asked if I wanted to go ice fishing. I said, "No need, I have a bag in the freezer." Same friend a couple weeks later invited me to a fruit stand, and I was disappointed when it all just sat there. I heard about the stock market crash. I was trying to figure out how so many people could lose money on a car accident at a slaughterhouse. It would make it easier if life was more literal. Literally, that's what I think. Another time, a friend of mine was telling me about salmon ladders. Have you heard about these things? He said the word salmon ladder, and right away, my literal brain is trying to imagine a salmon climbing a fucking ladder. It was ridiculous. But I thought, no, be real here. Salmon don't need ladders. They don't have Christmas lights to hang. They don't have ceiling fans to dust off. They're fish. They live in the fucking ocean. I thought maybe it's a ladder made of salmon. No, it couldn't be that. Then he told me it's actually a series of pools around a hydroelectric dam that allow the fish to get upstream and spawn. I thought there's got to be a better way to describe that. Like a series of pools around a hydroelectric dam to allow the fish to get upstream to spawn. Then a couple weeks after that conversation, I'm driving along listening to CBC like you do. And a program came on and they were talking about salmon ladders. There's some environmentalist on there saying salmon ladders across the country are being replaced by fish cannons. My literal brain kicked in again at that moment and I thought, fish cannons, that's kind of weird. I imagined a fish cannon with a fish coming out of the end of it. I thought that's ridiculous. So I got on Google and looked it up. That's exactly what it is. It's a cannon with fish. Boom, 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 flying out the end of it. It's crazy. Apparently, this environmentalist realized that salmon were being injured as they climbed these salmon ladders. I'm not surprised. And they thought the best way to prevent these injuries was to shoot them out of a cannon. I don't know about you guys, but when I think of preventing injuries, cannons are very rarely involved. Hey, you guys have been great. I've been Lucas Steves. Thank you so much.
Give it up to Lucas Steves, everybody. Make some noise for him. His first time at Comedy Monday Night. His second time ever performing stand-up.